Hello and welcome to the ESL Pro League North American Division. We're into season number 5 and it's match day 1. My name is Selfless. Joining me is Brainstorm, and if season 4 is anything to go by, then this season is going to be fantastic and extremely interesting as well.
Absolutely. I mean, season 4 we saw some amazing matchups coming out. We even saw perhaps an unexpected result with Cloud9 dominating the group stages and then taking it over SK of all teams in the final. So yeah, I mean, hopefully we get some similarly amazing games.
Yeah, definitely. I think SK, you know, last year certainly were looking like the team to beat. They were really the world beaters, winning both the majors, but not able to pick up the North American Pro League. Obviously, we've got them coming in through this season as well. Let's have a look at what we've got coming up today, though. We don't have SK or Cloud9, apparently. On our second stream, we do have, of course, OpTic versus Selfless. Over on the other stream, there is Cloud9 and SK, interestingly enough. But after that first matchup on this channel, we do have NRG and Complexity. So two relatively interesting matches coming up. I think the first one probably maybe a little bit more one-sided over towards OpTic, but the second one certainly a little bit harder to call.
Absolutely, and as you said, the first one leaning towards OpTic, as they are the stronger team. They've been making a strong contention recently for perhaps that best NA team. I mean, there is quite a few teams in that contention for that #1 spot now, but OpTic have looked very good recently.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, they've had a few changes in their roster. It will be interesting to see how they go. I mean, in saying that, almost every team, or nearly every team coming into this season has had a roster change. You know, there's a lot of changes going on in CSGO as well. We've seen Dust2 taken out of the map rotation, Inferno coming in. This week, though, we do have Dust2 in the rotation. Next week, Inferno will be replacing it. So a little bit of extra time for those players to maybe get used to Inferno. But obviously, you know, we've spoken a little bit about what's coming up this season. We have seen a great year of CSGO last year in 2016. Let's go ahead and have a look at a bit of a recap of what went on last year.
Smoke this overstep. Fast play. Very fast play. There it is. Oh my gosh. G2 certainly has to be convinced. It might be the absolutely perfect round. Nice shot on Fern. Hit the ground and Taco low in HP. Easy to pick up again. It's all on shots. He picks up one in overtime. Here looking for the shot. Shot's going to pick up one more. Triple wave. Oh, yes, the quad kill. Are you kidding me, Shoxy?
That's going to volley it off. This gives away the indication, though. They should know he's here. They
do with the knife. CW. He goes through.
In the same place there. Simple just jumping. Catching into the side. He's going to fall down again. Why is it so?
Snacks. Does find one. As he dances back and forth between the box. What a shot. What in God's name is that from Snacks? Carrigan drops him and falling. Returns back on. Takes a second as well. And the third. That's going to be the points go there. Oh, what are you doing?
These opening smokes are going to. They are putting one down at the very start of the round, but it's Config just greeting the edge. Oh, switches up! Config!
They're going to move in, and once again, very quickly, they tried it before. They're going to shut down time after time again. Automatic! The left side, first shot's very easy. Knows that they're on the right. Lovely shot, and get right with the aim.
Challenging towards Connector. Sick shot from Kenny, and again.
The opponents were being that passive style, but now you can see Scream doesn't care anymore. Scream's doing the no respect. 4 quick headshots and the ace. That's beautifully done. That is sick.
So many great moments last year in Counter-Strike. I'm hoping that this year is going to deliver as much as it did last year. My favorite moment probably that 2v1 clutch from Simple, jumping off Cage and picking up the 2v1. It was excellent. I remember almost jumping out of my seat when that happened. Did you have a favorite moment from last year?
Well, my favorite moment, or at least my favorite event, would have had to be IAM New York, and my reason for that would be we saw Na'Vi come through with the win of that one. Now, Na'Vi have been these teams, like, yes, they've had a few lineup changes in recent times, like you said, bringing in Simple, but they've been this team who for so long have been just on the very edge of greatness. They've been in finals so many times. They've been like just in contention for the win so many times, but we haven't seen them take it. And then IEM New York, they finally managed to win for themselves a large event. And that was just, I think, such a defining moment for them and for Counter-Strike, really. Because it seems we've just been waiting for them to win something for so long.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of winning moments, obviously, Cloud9 had a pretty good time last season in Season 4 of the North American Pro League. Let's have a look at the finals recap for that one.
The first time ESL Pro League hit South America to bring the biggest esports event the continent has ever seen to the mega city of Sao Paulo. As both SK and Immortals qualified for the tournament, it was a question of honor for the home teams to impress the crowd and, if possible, win the title. However, after a weak group stage, Immortals got kicked out of the competition quickly, and all hope rested on SK's shoulders, led by their in-game leader, Gabriel Fallen Toledo. The crowd was fired up for a Brazilian team winning the title on Brazilian soil.
I think it's natural to really want to win, and there is a little bit of more pressure, but we try to handle it the best we can.
But in the grand final, another American team showed up. After losing to SK in the group stage, Cloud9 battled their way through the playoffs, defeating OpTic and Mouse Sports for their chance to take revenge on the Brazilian superstars. The first map became a close affair, and Cloud9 pushed SK to overtime, but in the end, Fallen's squad was victorious. However, the pressure Cloud9 put on SK seemed to be too much. On the next two maps, the Brazilians got overrun, and Cloud9 won their first ever Pro League title.
Well, it's definitely going to be a bit of a difficult run into the finals this year for Cloud9. They definitely have the potential to do that, but there are certainly a lot of teams in contention for that spot.
Of course. I mean, in Cloud9, obviously, they'd love to pull off their second season win. They'd love to get the back-to-back, as I don't think we've seen a team do that yet, or at least not in recent times. But Cloud9, of course, wanting to get in there, but the contention is going to be very fierce this time. There's a lot of teams in very hot form right now.
Yeah, well, we might see Cloud9 there, but if we want to obviously attend that one as well, you can check out our website here. We do have tickets available for that Dallas one. It is going to be at the proleague.com/Dallas if you want to find some tickets for that one. It'll be interesting to go. Obviously, I don't think I'm going to be making the trek all the way over from Australia to Dallas, but certainly some of you might be able to jump on in there and pick that one up. Apart from Cloud9, I think, probably going to be seeing maybe SK. I'd like to see Renegades in the final. Obviously, I think they actually qualified last season but weren't able to attend the final, so definitely a lot of potential for a lot of teams in this scene.
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, I'd love to see Renegades or Winterfox or any of these Australian teams really get there. No bias at all, naturally. Why would we do that? But love to see them there. Another team I think is going to make it there, though, is Astralis. I mean, we've seen the form they've been in. They won the last major, beating out a lot of very good teams on the way through. So, yeah.
All right, well, speaking of a couple of teams that are probably going to be attempting to make their way through to the final, let's have a look at our first matchup for today. It is going to be OpTic up against Selfless. Now, OpTic, they've had a few roster changes. Tell me about what's going on here.
Well, we've seen this OpTic lineup. They've been mostly the same for a long time now, but they have very recently actually made a roster change, as you said. So that was, they lost Stanislaw. He was their IGL. He's moved over to Team Liquid now. So I think that was a bit of a surprise one for them, as it was for a lot of fans as well, but Stanislaw is out. Now, in his place, they've done a swap with Team Liquid, they've brought in Hiko. Now, Hiko is one of those players who, if you asked me about Hiko 12 months ago, you'd think, great, Hiko, clutch player. If you put him in a 1vx, he's going to win. In the last 12 months, we perhaps haven't seen as much of that from him, but maybe this change over to the OpTic lineup, new organization, new teammates, maybe that's what he needs to get back into form.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the great thing about this roster as well is the incredible depth that they have through their lineup. Maybe if Hiko or Tarek isn't firing, you've got Naf and Mixwell who can pick things up. So definitely a lot of potential for that lineup. Whether or not it's going to be realized this season, I think is going to be one of the storylines that we probably are looking at. Of course, their opponents for today we're going to be looking at is Selfless, and they themselves have potentially changed a few players around. We do see, obviously, this is looking fairly similar to what we saw last season from them, but, I've heard word on the grapevine that there are going to be some changes potentially for this roster, so we'll see what players are going to be coming into the actual server tonight.
Absolutely, and just so everyone's on the same page, those rumors that we've heard are potentially Slemmy and DSR coming in their place. Now, Slemmy, of course, not so long ago was on Cloud9, since the last time we saw him. DSR, I think, has been floating around some lower tier NA teams, and this could be his chance to break in to a higher tier team. So we'll have to see, as you said, which 5 they come into the server with. But either way, they'll be looking to do the best they can to take it to OpTic and see if they can pull off the win here.
Yeah, it is Slummy and DSR in the server there, actually for Selfless, and it looks like we're currently midway through the pistol round. OpTic perhaps a little bit worse for wear, having only a couple of players left, so it's going to be almost a 3v1, depending on which of these sites Selfless do head in towards. They're sort of having a look in towards mid. Still plenty of time to actually work with for the moment, so they don't need to rush into anything too quickly, and no grenades to work with either left for Selfless, so they're just going to have to rely on that raw aim heading into what looks like, for the moment, probably the B site with a bit of a split.
Absolutely, and Slemmy, it's worth noting, does not have armor because he would have been the utility player. As I'm assuming the IGL of this lineup, that's what he was for Cloud9 coming in here. I can only assume he bought utility, but here comes this B push. Now Rush with a lot of work to do, going to go for the first engagement, actually find it, nearly the second, but will get flanked out by Slemmy from the tunnels, and Naf in a 1-on-2 already. Slemmy has found himself a USP, so that upgraded pistol is going to help him out massively. Naf actually does have a smoke here, and a kit, but nice shot from Slemmy, holding the angle on the doors, rips off Naf's head, and that's the pistol round going to Selfless here on Dust2.
Yeah, really nice shot there in the end. And Selfless, as you say, picking up the pistol round, so nice little bit of momentum to start things off for them. Obviously, coming into this matchup, we kind of thought that they might be perhaps the underdogs in a sense. OpTic definitely looking like a strong team. As we said, winning the E-League Season 2, so, you know, a lot on the shoulders here of OpTic as well, I got to say. If they don't manage to win this matchup, then, you know, potentially some questions are going to be asked about these roster changes that are being made, but still, early days. Selfless, of course, with the buy into this one, though.
Absolutely. It is worth pointing out while we're here that this Dust2 is OpTic's pick, so if they do lose this one, they're going to lose their own map pick as well, which will not be great for them, but just 5-7s for them this round, P250 on Naf, and it's up against a pretty strong force buy here out of Selfless. 2 AKs for that long-range advantage and 3 SMGs to try and mop up in the close range. And it looks like, despite all that, they're going for the long-range engagement, which they do have the advantage with those rifles, going to be heading over towards that long A position. And there's no one actually getting dinked. A nice shot out of Naf in uppers, but they're going to fall back from that one, and the bomb and 4Ts now moving out long, looking to pressure this A side, and the CTs are playing retake here on short.
Yeah, a little bit of information there from that push in towards the B halls for OpTic. Of course, they get that little bit of extra damage onto no one as well, but now OpTic are going to have to deal with this aggressive push coming out from Selfless down long. Mixwell in a nice spot. One-way smoke not quite working out too nicely for him. Does get taken down. A 1-for-1 overall at the moment as Naf did take down no one, finishing him off. Tarek around behind. He's going to probably be taken down here, but the question is how many of those opponents can he take down before he himself goes down?
Well, for now, he's actually forced them back out into long. I like this positional play from OpTic. They know they're weak in terms of utility and in terms of weapons, and they've rotated all over the map to be able to try and flank Selfless. They have had to mostly give up the A site in that time. There's no one on it for a Rush is there close in the cutout, but no one there. Rush actually getting cheeky, going for the jumping shot. Whoa, okay. Trying to take out the planter. The bomb does go down, but Rush will hit the jumping shot on Nifty, and now it's actually a 3-on-4. Utility or weapon advantage still with the Ts, but that AK has been picked. There it goes. DSR getting 2 with the UMP. Caboose picking up 1 with the AK, and now Tarek, 33 HP and a Dream, 1-on-3. He does have this AK-47. He's playing games in this smoke. Slemmy is very, very close. Tarek cannot. No, will take him down. He's actually behind them all. Tarek could do this.
That was very, very close there. Perhaps a little bit too close for comfort for Selfless. I thought, you know, once that first guy went down, he was probably going to get traded out, but he found the second kill. In the end, the spray down wasn't quite there for Tarek, unfortunately, but still not too bad of a round in the end, actually, for OpTic. They picked up all bar 1 kill, so a bit of economy damage going over to Selfless. Still, of course, they're going to be able to buy into this round. OpTic should be on the eco.
Absolutely, and you'd think OpTic will. They don't have much money, so they should be sitting here on just pistols, trying to play close range, pick them off if they can. Now, worth noting that we did just see that Peacemaker has joined the OpTic side as coach. So that's the other roster change that OpTic have made recently. In place of Stanislaw, they did lose an IGL, but they've got in, hopefully, an upgrade in fragging, or at least a decent fragger in Hiko. Yep. And they've got the tactical mind of Peacemaker in now to be calling for them. I can only assume will be there with the tactical timeouts. So maybe not as much of a loss as we first thought in losing their IGL, given they've replaced him with a fragger and a coach.
Potentially. We are going to have to see how that sort of plays out throughout the rest of the season. Now, obviously, the guys on OpTic, they managed to kind of find their way into 4th place in the standings last season, obviously before the finals and all that. They were 17-9, which is quite a decent win-loss record, so they are going to be relatively hard-pressed to beat that, you know, with the strength of incoming teams. SK, Cloud9, I'm hoping Renegades, potentially some other teams on the board there as well. I think, you know, Immortals, the likes of Liquid even potentially could be a thing. It depends on how their roster changes are going to work out. Again, so many storylines that we're going to have to find out throughout the rest of this season. So many questions to be asked and answered even by the teams as well. So it should be an interesting season here, and I'm really hoping that it's going to be as competitive or even more competitive than last season.
Absolutely, and I think that could well be the case here. As we've seen in, well, we had after the last major last year, we only had 2 majors last year. In previous years, we've had 3, but we only had 2, and we had that longer break, and we had that off-season for all these teams to practice, with the result that in the games we've already seen in 2017, these teams have had, most of them, a lot of time off to work out, you know, we want to make roster changes, we want to do some prac, we want to work out what we're actually doing with our Counter-Strike, and as a result, a lot of teams have come back looking a lot better. So I think we don't really have a dominant team so far established this year. I mean, we've had in previous years, we've had the Fnatic era, we've had the SK era.
Well, the Fnatic era might be back.
It might be back with that roster change. We've got the original, well, almost the original Fnatic lineup back together. But for now, we don't really have that one team, which is, you know, we're going to get in the server, we're going to beat everyone. Like, we don't have that sort of dominant presence. So it'll be interesting to see if we actually do get one team establishing themselves as the sort of gods of the scene, or if we just have a region in Counter-Strike or a time in Counter-Strike when everyone can win at any given day.
I think that would be definitely interesting. I mean, as you said, has been, generally speaking, one team which you would think should be able to win this event or such and such. But generally speaking, we don't have a very, very competitive at the top sort of a level kind of thing. But we'll have to see how that works out throughout the rest of the season. For now, guys, it looks like we've got a bit of a prolonged pause, though. So we might head to a quick break. We'll be back as soon as the game is going to be ready.
Hey Future Pros, we have a flash for you that should aid in pushing through the monster tunnel on Overpass. This flash should leave your teammates unaffected while the CTs should be blind as heck. To do this flash, line yourself up over the tip of this bottle. Aim over the wall slightly and to the right and then throw the flash. That's it. This should make the Rush B Don't Stop strat work way more in your favor.
Ready to win.
Fantastic flash back there, Apex spraying them down. He decimates Tempo Storm. Second fire, and they line up again. Cold, 3, nearly 4. He gets it in the end.
There has to be quick on plays. They have no kids, but Boris in a lovely position. Oh, that was sick.
Step to the challenge. One quick kill and the nade. All of phases.
A quick break is a good break, that's what I like to say, and we're back into the game, right into round number 3, which has started off quite nicely here for Selfless by the looks of things.
Absolutely, they've managed to get themselves these 2 first early picks on the board. OpTic are ecoing as we predicted, they have very little money. Tarek does have himself that P250. Mixwell trying to be cheeky, play the car position, but Valve removed the fire from there, so can't really hide there quite as well, and he'll be taken down. So now Hiko and Tarek left with it all to do. Really, if they can just get a kill, I mean, Nifty has an AK-47, 3 HP. If they can kill him, they can potentially steal that, and there we go, Tarek will do it, but get taken down, and no one should be able to get up there and retrieve that AK as well. There we go, he will get that. So no major loss there for Selfless, and they get themselves a pretty clean 3-0 to start us off.
Yeah, some pretty decent trades coming out from Selfless there, and like you said, the 3-0 to start things off. Not too bad. Caboose looking like he's carrying the torch for the team, 7-0-1. That's good to see. So I'm looking really for Nifty to probably step up here on Selfless as well once he does get that AWP into his hands. He was pretty good with the AWP last season sometimes, and well, I say sometimes, not every time, but if he can be on his day, then definitely can cause some troubles for OpTic here.
Yeah, you can indeed, but there's no ops on the server at the moment. Not OpTic and Selfless both choosing to just not go with those. They probably couldn't afford them with all their rifles, but they have rifles, and on Selfless they have utility. OpTic have a little bit of grenades to try and use to stop off any push from the T side, but not too much really from them. And Rush with nothing. Hiko with just a single smoke. Mixwell with a single flash, so not a lot going for them. Looks like the T is going to be grouping up here, moving towards short. They throw some flashes over the top. The bomb is here as well. Looks like Mixwell, and I believe that is Naf up in Goose, going to be the ones to try and pincer this and hold it off. They do have a player down at long as well. It's going to be Rush, so this is quite a nice setup out of OpTic to potentially hold this push off, as they've got 3 players here already, but Selfless are not fully committed here. They've got players over in upper B and lower B as well, so if the rotations get caught out by OpTic, this could be very difficult for them.
Yeah, Selfless have just smoked off the CT as well, so I wonder if maybe they're trying to fake something here, mid to B or something like that, but actually they're going to go for a drop, and they've smoked off the other side of CT now, so OpTic a little bit perplexed perhaps as to what's going on here, but it's a 1-for-1 trade overall. Not too bad there for Tarek. He gets a lot of information for Hiko. Interesting that Hiko and Tarek are both holding on the B side. Hiko only able to get a 1-for-1 there. Not quite enough in that situation. It's given up control of the B side to Selfless. It's now 3 versus 3, and a retake in this sort of a situation for OpTic going to be quite difficult considering the lack of utilities that they do have.
Yeah, and they don't have kits either, so they don't have that much time. They've got to get in there and do this now if they want to do it. Now, Selfless have not had time to move out of the bomb site, so at least OpTic do know that they're safe to get in there. Well, they don't know, but they can get in there without being flanked just yet, but they're going to have to do it now with no kits. They've got to get in there right now. Mixwell going for the first pick at the window. Rush in tunnels, trying to find out a player. Everyone on Selfless just hiding right now, trying to bait out these OpTic guys, and there it is. Yeah. They've done it. There's going to be no pick for OpTic in the first sort of 20 or so seconds of that retake, and they will not, without kits, they won't have enough time to do anything about it. Rush here could actually catch them all. That peeking, the timing on that is so important. Nice shot there, takes down DSR at least, and will get away with his rifle. But no round for OpTic. With no kits, they ran out of time and just had to give up on that retake.
I think that's fair enough, though, for OpTic. I mean, they kind of peeked in to have a look and see if they could find a pick. And if they did find a pick, I think they would have probably pushed in there and tried to take the retake. But when they didn't find that player, they knew, obviously, we don't have any Molotovs. We can't flush anyone out of positions. It's going to be too risky for us here to try and retake that B site, especially without a kit. And they go for the safer option, save those 3 rifles through to the next round. They even pick up an exit frag to boot. So overall, I don't think it's an awful situation there for OpTic. They got the best out of it that they probably could have.
Absolutely. Now, here's something interesting. We do have an AWP out on Selfless, but it's going to be on Slemmy and not on Nifty. So that's a bit interesting. Of course, Slemmy never played AWP on Cloud9 because they had Skadoodle there, the all-star AWPer, when he steps up to do that one. So interesting to see that. I don't know if that was just a spawn-based thing or if it was because Nifty's just going to be rifling while Slemmy's AWPing, but interesting to say the least. Now, the T's have just taken some mid-control here. They've got players in upper B. They've got a player in T-spawn. They're just spreading out at the moment, playing not so much aggressively, just slowly feeling out the map, trying to see if they can catch out anyone from OpTic being aggressive. But right now, OpTic are just dug deep inside their sites with only Naf, playing passively inside CT, hiding behind the box, playing a crossfire with Tarek outside upper B, just trying to stop that mid-rush if it happens. But again, Selfless can move over towards short, and the bomb looking to be joining them. The question is, though, will they actually go short this time, or will it be another spawn drop to go over to B?
Well, it does seem like they are, you know, having a bit of a look around short fairly often so far in these first 4 rounds. OpTic are obviously aware of that. They've got that Molotov in towards that direction, but Selfless not going to be too bothered by that, as now they're starting to make their way out through mid. Not a bad crossfire setup, though, here for OpTic Gaming, so this could potentially be the round that they need. Tarek is going to lose his teammate Slemmy, picking up that kill onto Naf, and now it's all down on the shoulders of Tarek, only with a FAMAS. A difficult situation for him. They're only able to get 1. Hiko probably could have gotten 2 there, but he does get traded out by no one as well, and it's back to a 2 versus 4 again. OpTic on the back foot.
Absolutely, and Hiko actually dropped the bomb there as well, and could almost got that second kill. I believe it was no one left on just 2 HP. If he just not turned away, he checked his back too quickly. If he'd actually got that second kill, he would have had bomb down, could have maybe moved in, took control of that thing, and tried to hold off Selfless. But it was never going to be easy. It was still a 3-on-4, and unfortunately for Hiko, the timing does not work out in his favor, and that means it's Mixwell and Rush now left to save these rifles again. They do have a kit and a flashbang that they're also saving, so it's definitely good to keep these guns alive. Their economy will be building now as they get towards their 5th consecutive round lost, but really, they need to start winning them here soon. And it's going to be, I think, for them, they just need to start getting this early pick. They need to get the pick first, or at least trade the early kill without just going down a man straight away.
Yeah, for a team that we thought coming into this one were going to be probably the superior team, OpTic has really not looked like it at the moment. 5-0 on the board for Selfless, and pretty much all the money they could really want. Obviously, DSR just a little bit low there, but the rest of them starting to get that bankroll built up here, and things are a little bit worse for wear on the side of the CT. So again, it's going to be a difficult round here for OpTic.
Absolutely, and they do have themselves some rifles now. They're actually, there we go, their last FAMAS has been upgraded into an M4. So they've got themselves 3 M4s and an AK to work with here. So this is a good chance. They've actually got some utility on 3 of their guys as well. So if they want to try and make a round happen here, this is a good spot to do it. But they've given up long control, choosing to play 3 players towards CT. It's now, I believe, Mixwell actually peeking long, moving back into the bins now. So they're playing a retake on A, which, of course, if they get the kills and then can fall back without dying, that'll work great for them. But if Selfless are allowed to get up here, get onto this A site without OpTic being able to do too much about it, then they're going to be stuck playing retakes straight away. And we've already seen that they haven't really been going for retakes. They've just been saving. So at some point here, they need to stop saving. And with only 2 kits, they've got Hiko and Mixwell, who have those diffuse kits. If they go down in locations where they're not as accessible, then it's pretty much cutting down the chances of an OpTic retake by half.
But a bit of a push here from OpTic in towards short. They are going to get some information off that, though. Nifty doing a good job of stalling and even taking down a couple of kills. Nice little headshot coming out from him. Can he get another one? These guys are playing with fire. In the end, it's a 2-for-2 trade overall, but Selfless have gained control of that site. As you said, it's going to be OpTic on the retake.
Absolutely, and they don't really have that many players close to them. They do have both those kits over here. They're on Hiko and Rush now. So they can get in here. They've got themselves that extra 5 seconds to work with. And they do have a 3-on-3, and it's only Rush who is tagged. So this one's pretty even. This last smoke on Caboose is the only grenade that was left in the server, actually. So now it's about as even as it gets. Now it's just a straight up brawl. Here comes Hiko out towards Long, and there's 2 players there waiting for him. Slemmy greets him with the AWP. His teammates will have that info now, but a 2-on-3.
Yeah, I think this is a little bit unwinnable now for OpTic. The AWP in the pit there is going to make life incredibly difficult. Not even a smoke available here for OpTic to maybe smoke off the bomb for the defuse. And it looks like another fairly run-of-the-mill round for Selfless. Like they've just walked in there, got a couple of kills, gained control of the site, and then OpTic have gone in one by one on the retake and been basically executed.
Absolutely, and it's not even looking like Selfless are doing anything particularly special. Like, by all means, they're playing well, but they're not pulling out ridiculous double fakes, incredibly complicated site takes. They're just playing pretty strong defaults, getting some map control. They pick a site, and they decide which one to go towards, and then they just hit their shots, and OpTic, there's not really much you can do with a bullet in your head.
No, certainly not. And OpTic, not going to be so much they can do with this buy either, unless Rush can pull something interesting off. With that AK, Tarek gets taken down by Slemmy there on the cross, and that's a little unfortunate for OpTic, but again, I guess it is kind of an eco round, so it's not going to be the worst situation. Better than having that sort of a situation on an actual buy round where you lose a player straight off the bat. So, yeah, again, it's just going to come down to Rush. If you can find some openings here, maybe can pull something off, but it's wishful thinking at the moment for OpTic, who haven't really looked like they've been in any of these rounds.
Yeah, they've not really had too much of a chance. Not like we've had any 1v1s that they've lost or 2v2s they've lost that have been close. It's mostly just been they lose the opening kill, and then they get shut out in the retake, and they have to save. It's just there's not really been that much going for them. Now, this round is a bit of a wash. As I say that, Nav picks up a very nice 1-dig on a DSR, and he's got another player. That's Caboose, very low right in front of him. All right, this is looking much better from OpTic. Mixwell with a double. Now it's a 2-on-3. The bomb is in their control, and they've got a gun at least as well. Mixwell with an AK-47. This just got much more difficult for Selfless.
Oh, certainly did, and there's another AK being picked up by Naf. So it's a couple of weapons and a pistol here still for Hiko, but it's a Deagle, so we all know how powerful that one can be. Slemmy's going to find himself an easy kill. Not entirely sure what Naf was doing there, but Slemmy's going to take advantage of it nonetheless. In the meanwhile, no one also finding Hiko, so it's down to Mixwell to clutch out this situation. It's a 1v1 now. He's managed to find that one onto no one, and Slemmy has to deal with this one with the AWP. A great tag through the wall, or through the doors even. Puts Mixwell down to 6 HP, but only 27 seconds left on the clock. Selfless, it's not an unwinnable situation, but it's still not the easiest of situations.
I like this move from Mixwell as well, going through trying to get the flank off. He could catch out Slemmy here. He spots him. Oh my goodness. I think he saw that. That was so close. Yeah. He now has a decent idea on where Slemmy is going. He knows that with 10 seconds left, Slemmy has to go be here.
The timing.
Mixwell, oh my goodness, this is so well played. He's completely read this. The player comes in, and Mixwell will do it with a 4K in the round. 2 with the 5-7, 2 with the stolen AK, and finally we have a round for OpTic Gaming here on Dust2.
That was really nicely played from Mixwell. He got the read, and he executed it perfectly almost. Selfless going to be hurting a little bit after losing that round. Obviously, they should have the economy to buy into this one, but definitely losing to an eco like that is not going to be the ideal situation at all.
Not at all. But they do have Caboose in terms of economy, still up on $1,500 after dropping for a teammate. So while the rest of his teammates are a bit low, he's there to be the bank for now. So they're going to be all right with money for now. But OpTic, double AWP, Mixwell and Tarek picking those things up, and no answering AWP on the Selfless side. So this could be good for OpTic. It just depends where they're going to be playing with those. Looks like one's going to be up on short, and I believe Tarek is out mid, holding for that mid to B push. So this double AWP could work out very well for them, but it looks like Selfless have made the right move. They're going to the only place on the map was only one player who's going to be pressuring them, at least initially. And if they get out mid, they can take out Tarek, they can move up towards B. But again, Selfless favoring short, and they might not be ready here for Mixwell with this angle.
No, it's, well, I mean, they should know that there's going to potentially be an AWP on the field. They have spotted out at least a single AWP now. But that grenade, it was a good one. Didn't do all that much damage still. Grenades in CSGO, as they are. But Mixwell's going to have to revert his position back a little bit further in towards the A bomb site. Having a look into mid now as well. OpTic not quite sure where Selfless is going to be pushing just yet, but it does look like Selfless probably setting up for some smokes here, for some flashbangs as well.
Yeah, it looks like we should have an execute coming in here for Selfless to get up towards the A side. And with 5 players there, I assume they're actually going to go A this time as well. This one won't be a B split. There's some grenades in to try and deny the push. That's nice work actually out of Naf to try and stop that one off, and it's worked for now. Selfless have been halted. They've got, I believe that is Caboose already out, but the rest of his team have fallen back. Here goes Caboose into CT. The rest of his team will be going with him. Here it comes. The pressure is here. Naf actually finding one, getting dropped on behind. He wants our second one as well. Nice work from Naf. Mixwell answering in onto no one. This one's not going anywhere near as well for Selfless. A 2-on-5. The bomb is down, but now Nifty, not even Nifty. Naf will drop him. Naf with a 3K in the round, actually. Very nicely played, dancing around those smokes, dancing behind the Selfless players, and getting himself 3 of them, which means OpTic are going to avoid the immediate economic reset at least, and they'll get themselves a second round.
Does seem like OpTic might have a bit of a second wind in their sails now, so to speak. They picked that one up without losing a single player, and really making Selfless look a lot worse than they had before. So good opportunity now for OpTic to come back into this one. Obviously still a bit of work to do, down 2 and 6, but that economy is starting to build up a little bit here. Selfless still have another buy here, but this might be the last one.
Very possibly, and we still have this double AWP persisting onto OpTic. Now, we didn't see too much out of it in that round just because, really, Selfless didn't go where the AWPs were, but it's still here, and it's still going to be very dangerous. Double AWPs on Dust2 can be so effective depending on how you play them. You can even just have double AWPs holding a crossfire somewhere and the rifles hold everywhere else. There's a lot you can do with it. It's a very versatile setup, and especially when you have an AWPer like Mixwell on the field, who is so strong, you can definitely expect big things. But here comes this push towards the A site. Rush has called it out. He's dropped the Molotov. He's found the first kill, actually. He is pressured here. He's got a Molotov in his position. Tries to drop down. Caboose is ready for it. We'll take him. Nav gets one. Slemmy and DSR trade 2 back. It's a 2-on-3, but Tarek, I think he has a read here on where DSR is, just waiting for him to pop up. This grenade's going to be very nice, it looks like. There's nope, it bounced off. There's a bit high there from Tarek, but picks up the AK and gets destroyed. Wow. Goodbye, Tarek, and now Mixwell. AWP looks like he's going to be going with the Desert Eagle here. Has completely flashed out DSR. Not that he knows that. He knows he's there, but a 1-on-3. One player on the bomb site. That wallbang was very close, but Slemmy playing this one cleverly. Mixwell actually dropping down. He does have a kit. He's got a little bit of time to play with to try and isolate these into 1v1s, but the timing on that is very unfortunate. Just unscopes merely a second before DSR comes around the corner, and we did see a win streak very briefly of 2 rounds for OpTic, but it's already gone.
Not even sure I would call it a streak at that stage, just a couple of wins on the board, but still, OpTic should be able to afford to buy into this one. They're not probably going to have an AWP, but still, a buy is a buy. Can't really complain too much about it. Oh, they do have an AWP. Mixwell going for the glass cannon though, so no armor.
And only one smoke to cover himself with as well, so not really too much to do for him. He's got to get his first pick and get out safely, and that could be a difficult task. But for now, early pressure from Selfless towards Long. Going to do a little bit of damage and back out of that one, though. Now, Hiko looks like the pressure will be squarely on his shoulders here. Got himself a FAMAS as well. Not the greatest gun to try and hold off a rush, but he's going to have to do what he can as his teammates aren't quite with him. We do have Tarek just outside B who can be there pretty quickly, but definitely the work is, at least initially here, on Hiko, but here comes the mid push as well, and there's Naf down. Caboose getting that kill as they flank out through mid, and now Tarek, again, with everything to do, will find himself the first kill, gets the spray transfer in the second, almost the third, but not going to do it. Hiko finds 1 and 2, though, turning it around, and now Slemmy, the last player remaining, will pick up at least Hiko, but he's in a 1-on-2 here. He does have the bomb, he's got a minute to play with, but he's got a player coming in behind him, and a player in CT, and this will not be easy.
Alrighty, well, Slemmy just in a 1 versus 2 now. Gonna have to find that, and well, it's not going to work out too nicely for him. Not too bad of a round there for OpTic.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, they're actually going to win one, which is good for them. That's what they need, and they might have actually just reset themselves a little bit there. I mean, their economy should be okay. They've won a bunch of rounds in this one. Yeah, there we go. They do have a ton of money to be able to get across the board with. They'll be able to get some drops out for their teammates. Maybe not an AWP, but they will be able to buy very comfortably. But speaking of buys, OpTic going to be coming in with the double AWP again, so we'll get to see that one back up.
Well, yeah, double AWP set up, you know, it didn't work out last time for OpTic, but I think it's going to be not a bad idea to give it another crack here. Obviously, give it a pretty early crack in the piece as well, only 11 rounds in, so if they can pull off the win here, maybe they can pull it through for another few rounds. But it does look like we've got a bit of a pause here, so why don't we go ahead and have a look at a video about the DreamHack event that's going to be coming up very shortly.
You are ready. Ready to win.
Fantastic first breath, they let him all. Apex spraying them down, he decimates Tempo Storm. Second one, and they line up again. Cold, 3, nearly 4, he gets it in the end.
There has to be quick from phase. They have no kids, but Boris in a lovely position. That was sick.
Failed to the challenge. 1 quick kill and the nade. All the phases.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ESL
Shots in a row. Fenix about to bring it back now. All on Nico. Trying to see if they can get the defuse and Nico. Oh no, Fenix has to keep Virtus Pro alive. Taco once closer. AW.
Well, cutting that one short, we're going to be back straight into the game. Obviously, that's good to see. Haven't missed anything so far this round. Looks like Selfless just going to be on a pistol Tech 9 buy, Tech 9 and armor buy, sorry, I should say. Obviously going up against that double AWP setup of OpTic.
And I mean, their only chance here really to try and take this round is they need to find where those AWPs are playing and run into them at close range. Like, realistically, a pistol should not beat a rifle in a relatively close range exchange. And AWP, if that AWP misses their first shot, there's much more of a chance. So really the best chance for Selfless here is to try and find where those AWPs are playing and take them out. But they're just be going for a good old B rush instead. And Hiko actually getting caught out. Not even to find out where those players were. Now Tarek looking to do work from the doors. Finds one, finds two, finds three. Tarek, nice shot on the jumping slammy there. And what? Tarek with the ball game. He can get the ace. He gets the no-scope. What was I saying about AWPs against pistols? I was apparently entirely wrong as Tarek picks up the entire Selfless lineup by himself.
It's always nice to have a bit of a door or a corner or something to peek around like that when you're going up against the pistols in an AWP. So pretty good result there for OpTic Gaming. In the end, they only lose Hiko, and he's obviously going to be able to rebuy straight into this round. Being able to keep that double AWP set up through here for OpTic is a bit of a boost, and it's going to give them another good chance at this round.
Absolutely, but I mean, that's probably not how they wanted that last round to go, but probably not how you expected it to go from Tarek either. An AWP shutting down 5 pistol armor by players is definitely not what you see every day, especially in such quick succession. But that round is over. Next one is up here, and Selfless will have themselves some AKs and mostly full utility to be able to come back into this one as well.
Alrighty, well, Hiko just again watching that upper tunnel, but this time Selfless not too interested in that. Mixwell is going to spot the feet of one of those Ts crossing his sight. Now maybe he's going to go for the repeat. It's going to be a little bit dangerous here. Caboose watching that angle, and Mixwell is forced to back off. So nice little bit of control there from Selfless. They've gained reasonable control up towards the short area, but still, as of yet, haven't gotten anything too much in towards the A-bomb site.
It does look like that's where they're going to be going there. Again, they have 3 players here and 2 over towards B. Now, the last time we saw this did end up being a drop into CT spawn and a B split, so we'll have to see if they do it again. And there it is. Seems to just be the Selfless thing to do the B split. They don't go straight out mid, they go over through A, which can catch your opponent off guard. And we'll have to see how OpTic adapt to this now. The pressure is on these 2 B site defenders. It's going to be Hiko and Tarek with everything to do. Tarek already so low. Did get 1 before he went down, but now Hiko looking to do it all. Finds 1, finds 2. Not going to find Nifty, though. It's a 3-on-2. This is good for OpTic here. They've actually got a man advantage. The bomb is not yet down, but it's coming into the site now. But Nifty down on 9 HP, catching a dink before getting that kill onto Hiko. That's good for OpTic here. They've only got 1 bullet defined onto him, but Nifty is going to be holding this angle very close into upper dark. And if Rush peeks into that, if he's not ready for it, he could just catch an AWP in the face, and then he'll be back into 2-on-2.
Yeah, sadly, no flashbangs available here for OpTic, but even if Rush does go down here, he should get traded. In the end, the shot is missed by Naf, and Rush is able to pick up the... by Nifty, sorry, and Rush does pick up the kill. Slemmy down now, though, in a 1 versus 2. He's got a decent position here to just dance around, but in the end, Naf is going to push forward and pick him up in the end.
And Naf closing down the angle and winning that one out. It's worth noting here as well that while OpTic have been down considerably, they still haven't lost this half. The Selfless are only on 7 rounds. OpTic can still get the 8-7 here and win this half. It's also worth noting they did just manage to save the double AWP, so they're going to be keeping that going. And it's been really quite effective for them so far. Maybe not in terms of 2 AWPs working together to shut something down, but having 2 AWPers on the map with both Mixwell and Tarek playing well so far has definitely been a good thing for them.
Certainly has, and Selfless, well, their economy is well and truly broken again back onto those pistols, and it was looking so good for them early on in this half. Now, OpTic well in place to potentially bring this one back to an 8-7 in their favor. It is going to be still difficult, I mean, 3 rounds in a row, but, you know, it's not without, or not out of the realms of possibility here. Selfless definitely need to change things up a little bit. They've been putting a little bit, maybe too much pressure on short, exploring long this time, but only with those pistols, so it has to be questioned how much they're even going to be able to do.
Nice shoulder pick there from Nifty, spotting out Naf, but will not spot out Rush, who now is going to have a bit of a hard time here with all these players peeking it, but he's got himself out the counter Molotov to shut it off. He's seen a few of them now, just going to take his time. Bit of a shooting gallery really here for Rush with no armor on these guys. He can just hit him in the head, take him down, and looking very strong here. Only Caboose with 5 HP remaining. OpTic looking really good to get through this one without losing a single player. There we go. Rush will eventually shut it down from that car position, and nobody lost for OpTic. They're pretty firmly in the driving seat here.
Yep, easy round on the board there for OpTic now. 6 and 7, still in the favor of Selfless, and they are going to have a buy, but this is probably, you know, their last proper buy. I guess they can buy next round, but whether or not they're going to be able to afford everything they want is the real question.
Yeah, very potentially not as much. They are quite low on money. They do have a 4-round loss streak building up, so they could potentially have some money to buy rifles, as you said, but I'm not sure they'll be able to get full utility. Either way, this double AWP still in effect for OpTic, and it's been so effective. Look at this from Rush, though. This is really gutsy. Going for the mid-aggression, and they were ready for it. Slemmy catches him out with the AWP, and now Tarek could be in a bit of a rough spot here. He's isolated in by Xbox. For all he knows, this player's top mid, so he can't really get out, but he will get the pick on the Nifty and be able to fall back, throwing a flash to cover himself, or not quite actually, thought he was going to do it, but not throwing a grenade to cover himself, but will escape with his life. Back to a 4-on-4 now, and OpTic, it's good to see them answering back so quickly. They lose a player, but unlike the first couple rounds where they went down, they answer back that pick very quickly.
I think Tarek's been looking pretty impressive with that AWP. I mean, I never really felt like he was an excellent AWPer or anything like that, but certainly been doing a good job so far against Selfless. I mean, we saw that 1 5K round. That was against pistols, to be fair, but it seems like almost every shot that he's been firing, he's been hitting.
Which is definitely what you want to see from your AWPer anyway. It looks like, again, we're going to see Selfless moving over at least one player towards short now, but the bomb actually in long. Have a look at this position from Naf, though. Sitting on the other side of the door. So if he doesn't get checked, he could shut this whole thing down, but I would assume Selfless going to be checking this corner, and that nice movement around the smoke there from Caboose will take out Tarek. Now Naf taking so much damage here. There is grenades everywhere for him. He has nowhere to go. Will eventually go down, but does heavy damage care of the HE he throws. And look at this flank as well. Both OpTic players coming in behind all the Ts here. If Mixwell moves fast, he'll get out, but Selfless going to drop a player into pit. That's going to be no one waiting for this. The peak is there. Now they've spotted him. They've got to take him out. And actually, DSR coming back for support. Hiko got to find all of these kills. Actually finds himself the first 2. This could be the old Hiko that we're used to seeing winning all the clutches. Now he's got a spot. Caboose goes for the spray. Very long battle so for these players. So low. 6 and 8 HP. But still, one of them has to land one more bullet to win this one. It's going to be so close. Hiko looking for the kill, trying to complete the 1-on-3. Here goes for a Molotov, and Caboose picks up the headshot. Unfortunately, I thought we were going to see it tied up there. Hiko with a valiant attempt, but Selfless will win it back.
Well, Dust is a relatively close map. You've got to expect an 8-7 kind of a scoreline coming out. 9-6 would actually be a fairly good result, I got to say, I think, for Selfless. In saying that, though, OpTic is going to be able to pretty much afford a full buy. There is a FAMAS on NAF, but apart from that, everyone's looking pretty good. Selfless, they do have 1 SMG, so neither team with a perfect buy into this final round.
Absolutely, but it'll be, I think this one will be on Mixwell. Now that Tarek's back on a rifle rather than having the AWP of his own, Mixwell's going to be potentially the one who's going to have to make the difference here, as he is now the only AWP player for his team. And Slemmy, again, looks like he's the AWPer for Selfless now. We were expecting Nifty, but I've seen Slemmy picking that thing up, at least in this match. Maybe it's just T-side on Dust2, but Slemmy's been picking that thing up a lot more than Nifty has. But either way, the T's, again, Selfless just playing this one slowly. Looks like they're going to be positioning over towards long here. They do have 3 players and the bomb here this time, and as well as 1 player in mid, 1 player in upper dark again. So they're actually doing quite well with playing their map control and taking their time and thinking, you know, where can we spread out, where can we move to make sure that we're not going to get flanked, as we've seen from OpTic already that whenever they can get a flank off, they're doing it and trying to punish Selfless from behind.
Selfless just trying to, or just waiting even for that smoke to dissipate. Having a look at... well, having a look in towards long, and it looks like we do have a bit of a problem on our GoTV. So not sure how that round is going at the moment.
Yeah,
who knows?
Last round of the half. I mean, both teams, there've been no damage done, so both teams in a good position to win it, so we'll have to see.
Hopefully, I hope we get to see sort of an 8-7 scoreline. That way we get a really good, even sort of a situation heading in towards the second half.
Absolutely, and Dust2 is one of those maps where it can be so evenly 50-50. I mean, I think statistically it's pretty much one of those maps where you wouldn't really say it's not T-sided or CT-sided. It's really the better team-sided. So we'll have to see who's going to come out of this one with the win, who's going to come out with the advantage.
I'm a little bit surprised to see OpTic having this much trouble, to be honest, on Dust. It has historically been one of their better maps. Like, I know they've had some roster changes. Obviously, Hiko coming in, Stanislaw going out, and that is an IGL going out of your roster, so maybe that's going to cause some issues. But in saying that, the core of this roster was generally pretty good on Dust2. They've had some good results on it, and it's not really a map that Selfless seemed particularly comfortable on. So I'm surprised to see such a good start here from Selfless. I'm not unhappy about it. It means we get to see a close match, which is always going to be good here. And Selfless actually looking probably like the better team at the moment, I got to say.
Absolutely, at the moment, I would think. And Selfless, I mean, surprising me as well with how strong they've been. But OpTic, we would think, I mean, the loss of Stanislaw, sure, as you said, they've lost their IGL. But the other thing is, it's Dust2. It's not traditionally one of those maps where you need a super strong in-game leader to do well. It's one of those maps where you can just rely on aim and a simple let's go A, let's split mid, whatever. It doesn't have the greatest strategic depth as compared to other maps. So I'm also surprised to see that OpTic are having this much trouble. I wouldn't have thought that the change in one member, Stanislaw for Hiko, could make that much of a difference. But again, OpTic just not looking as good, and we'll have to see if they can bring it back against Selfless.
Yeah, Hiko's looked relatively impressive throughout this this map so far. I mean, there's been some rounds where he hasn't done a whole lot, but obviously we saw that almost clutch, and it could have been a thing. So he's been certainly having an impact on this game. And I think the other takeaway really is Tarek, who's looked pretty good as well. Mixwell had that one nice clutch. So I mean, across the board, it seems like OpTic are probably performing reasonably well, but I just think they need that a little bit of extra step. They need to get that little bit of a boost over the guys on Selfless. Obviously, starting off on CT side, so maybe there's something in it for them there. You know, moving over to the T side, they can dictate the pace of the game. They can go where they want to. They can take the fights they want. Potentially, that's going to be like the little bit of extra oomph, perhaps, that OpTic need to pull this one off.
Very possibly, and I mean, it should be. I mean, OpTic, again, they should be taking this one, and the fact that they're having this much trouble is not, I'm not sure we can really blame it on any one player, as they've mostly been, as you said, pretty consistent. Like Hiko, sure, there is times where he's been alone in a 1-on-3 on a bomb site, maybe he could have found 2 kills, but in general, he's been pretty good for at least a 1-for-1 trade in his position. It's not like we really have any player so far, especially on the CT side, that's been sitting there and just dying consistently without getting at least a single trade frag. So yeah, I mean, OpTic just having a bit of a rough time so far.
I mean, on the other side of the coin, Selfless are looking pretty good themselves. I mean, their aim's certainly working out quite nice. So we've seen Slemmy hitting some nice shots with that orb. Caboose looked pretty good early on in the piece there as well. So I think there are some takeaways there as well for Selfless.
Of course, and they've also had this this short play they've been doing where they go up short, they throw smokes, and then they drop in through CT head to B. That's been working out very well for them so far. They've managed to get in, they've managed to get up to B, they can do the split, they can take out the mid guy, they can get onto the B site, they can at least get the bomb down. There's really not been many rounds where they've actually just been completely shut out of at least getting a plant down. So they've been playing well on their T side so far.
Yeah, definitely. Alrighty, guys, we're going to head to a quick break. It looks like we're in half-time at the moment, so we'll be back with the second half in just a second.
You like nuke? No? Well, here's a common warehouse smoke for you anyway. The lineups for this are nice and easy. It's fairly common AWPers should play from this spot, and this smoke should push them away and force them to relocate. Position yourself over this corner and aim slightly above the metal fixture, and then toss the smoke. Easy, now you removed one of the 45 different angles that CTs can kill you from.
You are ready. Ready to win.
Fantastic flash breath, they line up. Apex spraying them down. He decimates Tempo Storm. Second fire, and they line up again. Cold. 3, nearly 4. He gets it in the end.
There has to be quick from phase. They have no kids, but Boris in a lovely position. Oh! That was sick.
Failed to the challenge. One quick kill and the nade. All of phases.
Hey Future Pros, Train is the game and we have a slick smoke to cover CT connector. This smoke is great for pushing that pesky AWPer off position, and coupled with 1 or 2 more smokes you have a great outside execute. To master this, hop up on this dumpster and nestle yourself between these 2 crates. Once done so, aim just to the right of the corner of this building and let the smoke fly. Train ain't easy, but hopefully you can find some success with this top tip. Hey Future Pros, we have a flash for you that should aid in pushing through the monster tunnel on Overpass. This flash should leave your teammates unaffected while the CTs should be blind as heck. To do this flash, line yourself up over the tip of this bottle. Aim over the wall slightly and to the right and then throw the flash. That's it. This should make the Rush B Don't Stop strat work way more in your favor.
You are ready. Ready to win.
Fantastic flash breath, they line up. Apex spraying them down. He decimates Tempo Storm. Second fire, and they line up again. Cold. 3, nearly 4. He gets it in the end.
There has to be quick from phase. They have no kids, but Boris in a lovely position. Oh!
Alright guys, welcome back, and we're into the second half. OpTic did in the end win that final round of the first half, so we find ourselves at an 8-7 scoreline. Pretty even Steven heading in towards the second half.
Absolutely, which is something you do expect from Dust2, a bit more of an even matchup between CT and T, but between OpTic and Selfless, maybe not something we would have expected. However, we do have OpTic here with a chance to try and change that up. They are now the ones in control. They're on the T side. They get to choose where they go, who they fight, and where they fight them. So that could be an advantage for them here. For now, it looks like they're taking this pistol round pretty slowly. They do already have Hiko out towards long. They've got long control early. Tarek waiting around in lowers and moving between lowers and uppers, trying to catch out any push from the CT. Selfless, for their part, playing this one quite standard, back towards their sights and mid, not really pushing anywhere. And OpTic now long is the place they're going. DSR going to be the first one in really a crossfire position to stop this, but maybe not, as OpTic are now falling back, and unfortunately for them, they've lost Tarek, so their map control is now gone. With the rest of these 4 players grouped up, really, all they can do is move as a unit and just try and roll trade frags.
Looks like they're going to be maybe just charging in towards that B-bomb site. Mixwell spotting someone out mid, or spotting something out mid at least. He's just trying to figure out what's going on here. Meanwhile, the rest of his team making their way over towards the B site. I'm not so sure it would be the greatest of ideas to head in towards the B through the upper tunnel, so they do opt to actually head in towards mid, at least for now. Hanging around. They've got 40 seconds left on the clock, so they can rotate all the way around if they want. They've gone over from A over to B, and they're heading back over towards A now by the looks of things, and it does seem like that's going to be where the hit is going to happen. OpTic do find a 1-for-1 trade there overall. Now it's a 2-for-1, so we're back to a 3 versus 3, and OpTic have got control of that bomb site. Selfless now on the retake.
And they've dropped that smoke to cover themselves off from short as well. And Naf playing into this little stair, the sneaky stair position here, waiting for the Selfless players to push him. And they're actually all in short. All 3 of them going to be going together here. So Naf could have a lot to do. But as this smoke fades, now here will come the first engagement. Naf has not been checked in this position, but will be. Can't land the shot. And now it's a whoa rush. That was close. Just escapes with his life. 2 on 3 to try and do this one. There's already a player in CT flanking them too. Rush detected it, going for the kill. Not going to find it. Slammy will pick up Hiko. No one will take out Rush. And that's the pistol round going to Selfless, which means they're now going to be able to extend their lead.
Yeah, a couple of pistol rounds going the way of Selfless now. They have not lost one so far, and that's obviously going to be nice for them. 9-7 on the board, probably looking towards a 10-7 or even 11-7, depending on how this one goes. See what the Ts are going to buy in response to getting that bomb down, or if they're not going to buy, even if they're just going to save through to the next one for the AKs. Looks like that is going to be the option of choice. And so Selfless quite aware of that. They've just decided to go pretty much into the full SMG buy. They do have a couple of rifles there as well, just in case, but things looking pretty good here for Selfless, rather.
Absolutely. Looking to mop up this round nice and cleanly, clean up OpTic, and get themselves a bit of cash, hopefully by using those 3 UMPs, the SMGs there, to just make that extra bit of cash and make their buy further into the game a bit better. OpTic do have some pistols, but no armor. I mean, we do have still a Glock on Naf, upgraded pistols for the rest of his teammates, 2 P250s, 2 Tech 9s, looking to move out mid now. They should really be shredded by these SMGs, but they've actually forced Nifty back. He's on 10 HP. He's smoked out in CT as well. He could spam through the smoke and catch someone if he's lucky, but not going to do it, which means now, all of a sudden, OpTic looking better here, but Caboose looking to do the damage with this UMP, can't land the spray. Whoa! What was I saying about spray not being landed? No one finds 2. DSR cleans up 1, and OpTic, that round really fell away from them.
Well, I mean, they kind of just ran into the spray of no one, and when they don't have any armor, that's obviously not going to work out. Was a bit of a throwaway round anyway. They didn't really expect probably to pick up the win there, and they have obviously bought into this one with the AKs. There is a Galil on Naf, but he does have a little bit of extra utility to speak of, so a bit of a better buy coming into this one for OpTic. Whether or not they're going to be making use of it is the real question here, because if they let too many more rounds sort of slip away here for Selfless, then they're in real danger of losing their own map pick.
Absolutely. I mean, this round is going to be better for OpTic, as they've got Selfless only have 2 rifles of their own, whereas OpTic have full rifles, and 4 of them are AK-47s, with Selfless having 2 M4s and the 1 for Mars as well. So OpTic do have the weapon advantage here, but they are, as you said, at a round disadvantage. So this one they really need to win, or else they're already staring down double digit. If they lose this one, their economy gets reset. They could be looking at a much bigger lead really facing them as Selfless move up towards map point, and that's not what OpTic want to be happening on their own map. But they've looked a little bit better. I mean, they lost the pistol round to start off with, sure, but after going down, I believe it was 5 or 6-0 before they managed to get a round back. They've been looking at least better to keep this one in contention. This round, there are going to be some questions asked of them, and if they can't win this one, then they're going to be in pretty dire straits.
Yeah, certainly. They'll be probably back on the eco. OpTic, Selfless obviously rather going to be, starting to get a little bit of that economy built up. No one does trade 1-for-1. Overall, I'd have to say, not too bad of a result there for OpTic as they start to make their way, or attempt to make their way in towards the B-bomb site. Mixwell has a big job to do. He finds one. Did he even spot the second player? It doesn't seem like it. Nifty will take him down, and it's 3 versus 2. Now with some B control here from Selfless as well. Caboose trying to hold on to that window. That's an excellent flash. Does get both of those OpTic players, Naf in the end, able to trade out Caboose, but it's now a 1 versus 2 for him. He's been spotted out as well by Nifty. He does take him down, though, for his troubles. And we're back to a 1v1 DSR with all of it to do for Selfless.
But 20 seconds left. Nav needs to move now, and DSR will hit the timing, coming in through the window and drop Nav. There was hope there for Nav to get that 1-on-3, but in the end did not work out for him as the timing just didn't work in his favor. You know, the classic Counter-Strike curse of timing not working out when you really need it to. And as we hinted at before, now OpTic are stuck back on the eco. They're only going to be able to upgrade 2 pistols this time. Make that, okay, they're going to buy a couple more P250s, full P250s except for the Tech 9 on Rush. But a single flashbang, a smoke, some pistols. This one is just going to be a rush for a bomb plant. Really, OpTic just wants some money here. And, I mean, if Slemmy keeps pushing here, he can catch them all out because none of them so far are actually watching long.
If he makes a little bit too much noise, though, maybe he will get caught out. That's the real problem for him. And actually opting just to play safely, having a look in towards bedroom, but backing out now. OpTic do make their way quite quickly up the short area. It's Nifty to probably hold off this assault. He does have a Molotov, which he's going to pop down there, restrict a bit of the movement of those Ts, and now the pop flash comes out. Let's have a look and see how this peek works out for him. The spray is not great, but he does actually get a kill onto Mixwell. Still a 1-for-1 trade, not too great for Selfless there, but at least the backup is rolling on in. DSR finding the kill onto the bomb plant with the Molotov. And it's just Caboose to find the final kill there. In the end, not too bad of a result for Selfless.
Absolutely. Nice shot from Slemmy there to take down the player, harassing him at long, and dropped him with a USP long range. The bomb plant there must have been under a second from going down, but the Molotov unfortunately spreads a tiny fraction too far for OpTic. All they wanted out of that round was a bomb plant for a bit of extra money in this one, but they did not get it. They didn't get it across the line, which would have been, it's unfortunate for them. I mean, they can still buy in this one. Mixwell is stuck on that glass cannon. He doesn't have any armor behind his AWP. He does have a couple flashes though. But OpTic going for the fast long control, at least early on. There is 3 players here ready for them though. This is, at least for now, not the right move for OpTic.
OpTic have at least managed to gain control of that area, so there's a bit of a maybe doubt in the back of the minds of Selfless as to where these OpTic guys are going now. Starting to rotate back around. They look like they want to go for a bit of an A split here, having 1 player in pit and a few more coming up through short. Who's that pit player? It's Hiko. So no AWP in the pit.
Do have Hiko. Oh, I thought Slemmy was going to do more with that, but does manage to find one before getting traded out by Naf. But DSR already holding this angle. Naf going for the pre-fire. Beautiful flashbang from OpTic, actually, to get it out there, get the player across for the bait, the AWP shot. The flashbang did the work anyway, and Naf's going to get that kill as well. So 2K now on the entry for him. Nifty stuck down in CT that Molotov, making his position a bit more awkward. He has to move towards this site and take these fights, but he's actually going to drop the bomb planter as well. That's Mixwell going for the money, wanted some cash, but didn't have the head arm, which means he got 1 tap by that M4, and now Naf going to put this thing down. He is hidden in that smoke. They're not going to be able to kill him just yet. The bomb will go down safely, but now Hiko gets tapped out of the pit. Nice shot there from Caboose. Rush managing to pick up 1 from mid, and now Caboose has it all to do. He actually is not going to spot out Naf now. He will, going for the spray, trying to find it, dancing around these barrels. This fight is so awkward for both players here, but Naf will close it out, and that's going to be OpTic winning another round, and at least for now, stalling Selfless from getting further towards map point.
4 kills in that round for Naf. Nice job from him. He also takes the AWP through to this one. It's going to be dropped over to, well, originally Hiko. I was going to question that a little bit, but it does look like it's now in the hands of Tarek after passing by Mixwell. And back to Mixwell. So
I think they were considering a long pick there, but
yeah,
Tarek had the spawn, but decided not to do it. They're just going to throw a smoke over and do the standard long pick instead, with Mixwell doing that one. And there's no Selfless players here anyway. What is this stack? I mean, Selfless are on a pistol round, but I've never seen this precise way of stacking A before. All 5 players in the CT ramp. This is interesting. I mean, if OpTic do go this way, it's going to work out for them. Or potentially, at least they could do some damage. Well, I mean, Selfless could at least do some damage. But if OpTic find this out and they go over towards B, then really there's no hope for Selfless.
Even if they head up through short, I think really the only way that this sort of a strategy for Selfless works is if OpTic push through long. Like, they're not going to get too many easy shots in towards short or up or onto the A bomb site with just the pistols, unless maybe they boost someone. It's going to be tough here for Selfless, obviously, with only those pistols. So they had to go for something, had to roll the dice.
And they have rolled the dice. And I mean, a stack is not a terrible idea when you are on only a pistol round. I mean, they've got a 4-round advantage as well. They do have the rounds to play with. They don't have to try and play this like a normal round if they had rifles. They can afford to go for this sort of thing. But
I love this grenade. Oh,
I think this grenade gets caught out. Can we have... I thought that grenade would do more damage. And actually, the pistol's getting some kills now, but the pistols coming out from OpTic as well to clean it up. There's 3 pistol kills of their own. Mixwell and Tarek picking it up with their own secondaries. Actually, Tarek didn't have a primary, but I mean, 2 kills for Selfless is not bad for 5 players sitting in the one spot. I mean, I thought for sure that grenade was going to pick up a player or 2.
Yeah, well, it is a grenade in Counter-Strike Global Offensive, so can't expect too much. Did a fairly decent amount of damage regardless, but it is the round on the board for OpTic, and that's really what they needed. No matter how they got it, they're going to be able to buy back into this one. Mixwell again taking the AWP away. Oh, and Hiko, he's out very quickly on towards Long. He's going to catch one off guard, might even catch Slemmy through the smoke. Not quite getting the spray down, but he's in a great position here just to work the angle, work the smoke, and he's going to find DSR as well.
11 HP for Hiko, but he's done so much damage already. He's also got another player he can find. Almost did it. Slemmy will eventually shut him down, but a 2-for-1. That is excellent work out of Hiko. And what's more, his teammates have gone up short and planted the bomb. So by himself, he pretty much completely destroyed any A presence that Selfless had, which means now they're in a 3-on-4 retake here. They do have 2 kits on No One and Caboose, which is at least they've got that going for them, but there's already a player here, Tarek, waiting at short to take his fight with that player in lowers. It's going to be No One. Here comes Slemmy up long. He's got a lot of players facing him. They're actually going to grab the AWP, but timing does not work out for him. Tarek and Naf each picking up a kill, and now Caboose sitting in the top of Suicide behind the box. The last player remaining. Actually could have hit that shot on Tarek and killed him had he shot. Tarek only on 13 HP, but still multiple players. Didn't want to give his position away. Wants to keep this rifle up, and he's just going to be sitting here riding out the rest of this round.
Yeah, I wonder how much money this Selfless guys have here, because it depends on... Uh-oh. No, he's okay. Yeah, they don't have any money, really, so pretty important taking that M4 through to this round. If he can maybe at least get something done with that, there's a potential chance for Selfless, but obviously with a full pistol setup, things look a whole lot more dire. We know the power of just a single rifle if you can get it in the right place and if the shots can be hit.
Absolutely, but the question's going to be, can those shots be hit? And Caboose, really, all eyes on him for this round. I mean, his teammates do have some pistols, but they've got no armor, so potentially, I mean, if he can dink all 5 players, that's the ideal scenario because his teammates can mop him up, but he's going to need to get some kills here, and he's on B. His teammates, again, Selfless with these creative stacks. Looks like they've got 4 players towards short, holding long and just trying to do what they can with these pistols. These are creative pistol setups we're seeing from them, but OpTic playing a slow default. Hiko moving up by himself. I mean, there's no one to trade with him, but we'll spot out the head of Nifty, going for this kill, looking for the engagement. Throws a grenade over. That could be good, actually. No, only going to do about 3 HP of damage, but now they've spotted out all... I believe he spotted out multiple players there, so surely OpTic will fall back from this. Throwing a Molotov to try and split up these Selfless guys, moving back towards that long position, just playing their advantage here, really. And Tarek in mid, depending on the timing of his push here, he could either go out through mid or up short. No matter where he goes, he's got a potential to end this whole thing right now. This push is going to be so important for him because right now nobody from Selfless is looking at him. There's the first shot. Now they know he's here. He's going to look for more. Takes a lot of damage, actually, and DSR will drop him, but Naf picking up 2. Picking up 3. All right, Naf on the entry. He's been on fire this game. Now Slemmy has found himself an AK-47, has a chance here, but in a 1-on-4, all he can really hope to do for now, at least, is deny the bomb plan. That Molotov, they're going to force him out, and Naf will get a 4K. I think that's his second or so for this game. He's been playing very, very well on this T side, especially on the entry.
Yeah, definitely, definitely his second at 4K. Maybe even got more than I missed, but starting to see that scoreline really get a little bit closer here. OpTic nipping right on the heels of Selfless, 12-11. Still Selfless with the lead, but how long for is the real question for me here. Going to need to have a pretty good round here. Will the CTs? Absolutely. DSR with the AWP this time.
Which is interesting. I mean, that's not a spawn-based thing because he was actually running behind his teammate there towards long. So maybe Slemmy just not feeling it at the moment. I'm not sure what the go is there. But either way, the AWP on a new player. We'll have to see how that works out for Selfless. And that's a very cheeky angle there by Nifty. I think he's actually looking for footsteps through there. I didn't even know you could look through that spot. So you learn something new every day. But that's something that perhaps OpTic will not be ready for. It's obviously not something you can shoot through. You can maybe do 3 damage or so if you're lucky, but it's the great information play because you can tell whether or not this T is going to out through mid or whether it's a fake, and you really don't lose anything for it apart from having to be stuck in that position. But OpTic for now, not looking to go towards mid. They're positioning themselves by the looks of things up towards short. Again, playing their T side quite carefully. They are spreading out, getting map control, and not allowing themselves to be flanked. But there's a couple grenades in towards A and a fall back, actually. It looks like this one was a fake from OpTic, but we'll have to see. They do still have just under a minute here to play with. And a lot of the map too, but here's going to be this first pick. Looks like it's going to be towards CT. Nifty actually above that Molotov is safe for now, but if they check his position, it actually looks like they're looking away from him here. This could be so important. That's a really nice flashbang to catch that position, actually. That's very clever. And Nifty, he now knows they're there. And it looks like they know he's here, the wallbang coming through. He's going to have to drop down now. Tarek going to pick up no one in the meantime. Nifty going for a flash off the wall. Caboose getting Tarek back. And now these players are out mid. Nifty now knows it, whiffs the smoke a little bit, and Nav will drop him. Slemmy looking to answer back, but Nav getting another one. He's just been so strong on these entries. Caboose now the only player remaining. Nav on a triple kill in this round. Mixwell cleaning up that final kill, but this is all just, this T side is just Nav on entry.
Well, pause coming out here. I wonder if that's a technical or tactical pause. I don't know just yet, but still, 12-12, it would be not a bad time here for a tactical pause, certainly. Selfless, their economy is, not great. They could afford, a pistol armor or maybe some SMGs, but they're not going to get a full buy out of that one, so potentially just discussing what they want to do here with this scoreline so close.
And also potentially what they need to change, because really they won what, the first 3 rounds on their CT side after winning the pistol round, something like that. And they've really not had much going for them since then. They're only on pistols now, and OpTic are here with rifles and AWP ready to take the fight to them. I mean, we might see another ridiculously creative stack out of Selfless. We've seen them sitting on short, we've seen them sitting in a pit towards long, or the CT crossover even, but surely not too much of a chance.
Yeah, well, I mean, even if there is a chance here for Selfless, it's going to be a bit of a slim one, because look at that economy that OpTic has got built up. If they lose a couple of rounds here, even 3 rounds, they'll probably still have the economy available to them, depending on how many guns they're able to save through to the next round, to actually continue buying for almost the entire half here. So it is definitely an uphill battle here for Selfless, even though it's 12-12, just because of the economic situation that they found themselves in, they are going to have some real troubles.
Absolutely. I mean, no way, no matter how this next round goes, even if Selfless win it, unless they can win it by killing all 5 OpTic players and taking their guns, I mean, even if they win it in a one-on-one, that's only 1 gun they can save, and their economy isn't great. I mean, of course, a win for them is ideal, but just due to how their economy is right now, there's not too much they can really hope to do with this one. So, I mean, this round, absolutely, they're looking to do damage, looking to steal guns if they can, but still not going to be easy for them, as OpTic have, as you said, all the economy and at this point, all the momentum too.
Yeah, definitely the momentum, something kind of key to play into this one, and that's really good for OpTic, I think, as well, heading into map number 2, which is going to be Train. That is Selfless's pick. If they can kind of sweep away the rest of this map here on Dust2, then they'll be heading into Train with a fair bit of momentum. And that's why I think it's probably important a little bit here for Selfless to get some rounds on the board, at least make it close, if not find the win here. Because if they head into that second map with no momentum, with OpTic all firing, it's going to be difficult, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be tough on their mental state as well, because they had themselves the 8-7 half. It wasn't much of a lead, but they had a lead. And then they won the pistol as well to get themselves away moving earlier. So if they just completely lose out this game now, if they lose this one 16-12, that's going to be, I would imagine, pretty heartbreaking for them. I mean, not their pick, but they've had a lot of the momentum moving this way earlier on. They got up to 5 or 6 rounds before they lost one. They've won themselves both pistols here. If you lose a map, even if it's not your pick, if you lose a map after winning both pistols, that's pretty heartbreaking.
It is. It's not a great situation there for them. But look, I think the good takeaway, at least for Selfless, is that they can compete with OpTic here. And when they move over to their own map pick, potentially there's something a little bit more into it for them. It's not a map that OpTic is hugely comfortable on. It's not one of their favorite maps, I suppose, Train. And it definitely is one of the favored maps for Selfless, or the former Selfless that we used to see. This is a bit of a roster change, but how much of that is going to translate over to this new roster, I guess, remains to be seen there in the second map. But definitely a lot of questions to be answered still throughout this series and throughout today. We're back into the game, though. It's Selfless and OpTic still at 12 apiece, but OpTic with the far superior buy. Looks like Selfless have decided they just want to go for that pistol armor.
Yeah, and they're just going for a long stack here. So again, they're being creative with their pistols. They're just trying out stacking different locations, just playing the manpower game, thinking that 4 pistols can usually beat 1 man with a rifle. And I mean, unless that rifler is fantastic in close range, usually you'll be right. I mean, if you're going to have 1 rifle up against multiple pistols, you're either going to see a massive spray down, or you're just going to see that rifler killed after only getting 1 or so kills. So it's a nice idea from Selfless to try and shut it down, do some damage, and maybe isolate each member of OpTic if they can in the 1-on-4s. But looking at how OpTic's team play have been in terms of map control, in terms of how they move, I don't think it's going to be particularly easy for them to get too many, well, lots of their pistols versus 1 OpTic player scenarios. And OpTic sticking together here. The only player really isolated is going to be Tarek over in upper B, but he does have himself the rifle. He's only got 1 player facing him there, and there's actually Tarek getting a kill. Rush finding 1 as well. Nice damage from the pistols. Actually a team kill. Rush taking down Mixwell, but a lot of kills going the way of OpTic. And while a lot of damage done, only 1 kill really for Selfless, as one of those was a team kill.
Yeah, I mean, they still take a couple of guns out of the hands there of OpTic, but it looks like we've lost a player here for Selfless, so OpTic going to be having to wait a little bit more perhaps for their potential win in this one. Does look like going through to this round again, they're going to have a far superior buy. I didn't quite catch exactly how much money there was on the CTs, but I don't think it was quite enough for a full buy.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been particularly much. I mean, they were all around the 3 or 4 grand
Yeah,
mark. Most last round, and not many buy, and not many kills with those pistols. I mean, they only got 1. Admittedly, they took 2 weapons away from OpTic, but one of them was a team kill, which means that they didn't get the money for it. So while, yeah, they're going to be happy with the damage done, they don't get that extra little bit of money. Well, it's not much for at least that 1 kill. So you'd think this one's not going to go very well for Selfless.
No, definitely not. And, probably after this round, we're sitting on something like a 14-12 mark. That's where Selfless is probably going to be able to... Oh, actually, it looks like they've got a pretty good buy. I must have been wrong in terms of the economy. So there we go. Maybe not a 14-12. Maybe getting a little bit ahead of myself here. And, well, still, regardless, an important round coming out here for Selfless. If they can pull this one off, bring it back to 13. Again, it'll be a buy for OpTic, but at least there'll be a little bit more of a buffer for Selfless. It hasn't started off too nicely, though. Their little push from Caboose and on towards short in towards mid hasn't worked out.
But Nifty there looking to trade that one, pushing up on short, just looking to avenge his teammate if at all he can, but not going to happen. DSR now maybe the man with the plan, looking to trade Rush, or at least kill Rush if Rush comes out here. He's holding a pretty narrow angle on these doors. And if Rush peeks this, although the flashbangs have been perfect from OpTic. They've done very, very well on their T side here to isolate these positions with the flashes. There's Nifty though, pop flashing himself out, throwing a Molotov, not using that position though, going to be dropping off. I thought he'd peek there behind his little pop flash, but falling off it for now. And OpTic do have this one-man advantage early on, and they're being quite sensible with it, although the bomb is isolated over towards B, which, if that player gets pushed, that's going to be Tarek with the bomb. That could be quite nasty, but Tarek's been lurking quite well here, although they have lost Rush. And now back in a 4-on-4, but it looks like with the bomb where it is, OpTic going to be moving over towards B, which means no one, and eventually DSR when he gets here. They're going to have a lot of work to do, and the bomb's already out, actually.
Yeah, the bomb is out. No one, as you say, has a big job to do. He's spotted out Tarek, but does not win that trade at all. And DSR missing the shot there as well. So Tarek perhaps counting his lucky stars in the end. Maybe not counting as many as he needed to because Nifty takes him down. It's now 3 versus 2. The bomb yet to be planted with only 20 seconds left. And Hiko goes down as well. Suddenly things are looking a little bit better for Selfless, and OpTic really need to get that bomb down.
Looks like it is going to be going down now, and Nifty not able to manage to deny that plant, which means now OpTic have a chance in this one. But this AWP from Mixwell, this is going to be crucial. The close range is definitely not favored here. And Selfless looking to take this one together. Both moving towards the doors, and actually Slemmy going to pick up Naf. Now Mixwell, everything to do here. If Slemmy peeks, he could manage to get the kill. Slemmy does peek, and he'll take him down. Now, trying to find Nifty, dancing around this box, spots him out, goes for the pistol. Nifty is low on health, and there we go. Mixwell will finish it up in the end. Pulls out the P250, gets himself the headshot, wins the 1-on-2. And we could almost have had a tied game there, but not going to happen.
Yep.
OpTic 14-12, and the economy, while not completely ruined for Selfless, certainly not great either.
It was a really nice clutch there from Mixwell, not getting baited out by the shoulder peak and then finding the 2 1v1s. He just played that one almost as well as he could have, and certainly worked out quite nicely for them. As you mentioned, the economy heading into this one isn't perfect for Selfless. They will be able to afford a serviceable buy, I guess is what I'll call it, but it's certainly not one that you'd want to be heading into at a 12-14 deficit. Considering Caboose is going to drop straight away to NAF as well, that's really not all that great.
Yeah, and definitely not the start they would have wanted. I mean, none of these guys have head armor, which is entirely okay on the CT side as you're up against full AKs and an AWP, so your head armor makes no difference anyway, so it doesn't make too much of a difference. But more important than the lack of head armor is really the lack of utility. I mean, they have 4 grenades total for their team now, and only a single kit. That's going to be on Nifty. So it's a 5-on-4. Odds really stacked against Selfless here. I mean, of course, they can still do this. And if Nifty times this spray properly through this smoke, actually will find Mixwell. All right, the smoke fades. There you go. Naf with the trade out. He's been so good recently on the entry. Does a lot of damage, but not going to get the kill. So we're back in a 4-on-4 here. OpTic really looking to win this one. They can get themselves on the map point and perhaps put a bit of an end to the reign of terror that Selfless have had over them, at least in the first bit of this map. But there's a nice flash from Naf over into short, looking to take control here. He's been the entry fragger so far, and he's been playing very, very well. And for now, at least, the A side is clear, apart from Slemmy down below him. So this is the right call from OpTic. They've forced Selfless into a retake, and Naf.
Nice flick.
That was clean. On 8 HP, but dropping Slemmy, and now it's a 4-on-3. Selfless here trying to stall off map point. I think DSR may well be caught out by Hiko here, depending on if a flash comes in from a teammate. He's actually just going to hide in this corner. There's 2 players here for Selfless. Gun barrel spotted from Nap, and will go down. Hiko actually getting 1. Not going to get any more, though. 2-on-2. Tarek and Rush up against no one and DSR. 1 player in the pit, though. It's going to be Tarek waiting. The bomb is planted for him, and Rush looking to at least stall this one. There's 1 kit on no one, so all Rush has to do here is delay. If he can drop that kit, that'll be even better for him. But now, here come both these players. Spots out 1. 1. Actually, he might be playing on 4-3. I'm not sure he spotted DSR there. I don't think he did. He's not looking towards him, but he's falling back. There we go. Now he sees the head, and he's delayed him long enough. This is now impossible for DSR, and it's even less possible with his head gone. And that's going to be OpTic taking map point. Finally, it's such a back-and-forth affair. OpTic have found themselves a couple of rounds. They've now got 3 map points here on deck.
It was always going to be difficult there for Selfless on that retake 2v2 with that player down in pit. Even if they had been able to take down Rush, you know, they still would have had Tarek to deal with, and it was going to be such a tough ask for them. So we find ourselves at 15 and 12. OpTic really looking to close this one out here. It's probably their best chance. They do have a pretty good buy, and obviously Selfless, as you can see, with you know, a little bit of a lackluster buy with the SMGs. It's not ideal.
Ooh.
Tarek, though, gifting a free kill over to Selfless.
That's not a great start for OpTic in this round. And the UMPs, I mean, yeah, they're not as strong a weapon, but they can certainly be effective. We've seen a lot of teams very good with them. Mixwell just missing a timing shot onto, I believe that was Caboose there, who does manage to escape with the AK-47. So that's at least 1 gun upgrade and a man advantage. So this is looking better for Selfless already. I mean, this shot from Mixwell, had he taken that half a second sooner, he would have caught out Nifty through the smoke, but no such luck. That said, no one, the only player here on this B-bomb side. If he can, we get caught out. He's not looking good to do it, though. He's actually dropped 2 players already. Goes for the pistol. Will get caught out eventually, fully blind, but it's a 2-on-4 already. Nifty coming to looking to come in and do what he can. Actually gets tagged down to 6 HP. And wow, nice grenade there from Hiko. Will finish him off the damage that Mixwell did. Mixwell actually challenging the issue here. What? Mixwell, what were those shots with the AWP just nailing those players in mid? And now Caboose, 1-on-2 bomb down. This is completely turned around. OpTic, well, Mixwell completely changing this one.
Well, potentially he's going to have to find it. And he does find just the little bit of an arm peeking out there from Caboose. And in the end, it is going to be OpTic to close that one out. 16. Was it 10? I think it was 10. 12. All right. Well, we're getting too far ahead of ourselves. Still a very good win there in the end for OpTic. It was a bit shaky towards the middle parts there, but they got the job done.
They did. And I mean, while we're talking about getting the job done, let's talk about Naf. Like those entry frags on T side, they were so crisp. He was so good at getting in there and finding out these players, taking the 1v1s and just hitting his shots, really. He'd made such a big difference for OpTic's T side there.
Yeah, there was some really nice standout individual plays from a lot of those OpTic members we did see. Obviously, we've spoken about Tarek with the AWP in the first half. He had a pretty good time. And then Mixwell had a couple of very nice clutches. I think he probably clutched out 3 rounds there for OpTic. So, you know, another free 3 rounds on the board. Can't complain about that.
Absolutely not. And, I mean, that one was a bit tough for OpTic, at least initially. I mean, they went down, I think it was 5 or 6 to nothing before they got a round on the board. But once they sort of got over that little bit of, I don't know if it was just, you know, first day of Pro League, you know, we've got to warm up, got to get into it. But once they got into it, then they did start to roll along. And while it was close the whole way through, eventually they managed to, after losing the pistol around the first couple of rounds, they got rolling on their second half and really just got their T side going and took out Selfless.
Alrighty, well, the first best of 1 does go the way of OpTic there. We do have one more best of 1 up between these 2 teams. OpTic and Selfless on train going to be coming up in just a minute. Don't go anywhere.